Welcome back to our podcast. My sister is a Karen. I'm Jennifer, and this is my sister Karen.
Hey guys, welcome or welcome back. This is the conversations that Jen and I have whenever you hear someone say, like, I have to go call my sister right now. This is all the hilarity that you wish you could listen in on.
That is correct. So my dog is in here just like sniffing around as if she's never been in my office before. She literally is in here with me all day, every day. I mean, not the last 2 days because I was out on the road, but she's like sniffing, like going to town, sniffing at everything. I'm like, what are you doing?
She's so cute.
Safira, what are you doing? Okay, now she's sitting with her back to me and her little ears up so that she can like listen closely in case I say something interesting.
She's so nosy.
Oh my God. Okay, so last weekend was 4th of July weekend, and the Kansas City Royals were in town. They played the Diamondbacks. And so I went. It
And
was really, really fun. So they played 3 games. I didn't go to the Friday night game. I went to the Saturday and then the Sunday game. So the Saturday game, I went with a good friend of mine who, okay, not a good friend, but I went with a friend of mine who I hang out with occasionally, who's a baseball fan. And that was kind of fun because like he just kind of knew some things about the stadium and he was like, yeah, they built this stadium in this year and like this is some things that have happened and there's like a
nice.
bill to do so. Yeah, it was really kind of cool because Luis just like knew some things about and he's a Diamondbacks fan and I think he like always has been because they were an expansion team in the 90s. So, I think he's always been a Diamondbacks fan. So that was fun because, like, he knew things about it. The Diamondbacks did beat the Royals very soundly, as a matter of fact. The Royals did not have a good game that day. But then the second day on Sunday, I went back with my son and the Royals killed it. Like it was the pitching was great. It was such a good game. Bobby Witt Jr. hit a home run into the stands that I sat in when I went the day before, which is fine because as much of a baseball fan as I am, if the ball comes toward where I'm sitting, I hit the deck. I'm not trying to get the ball. I'm not trying to get in anybody's way.
No,
I don't want the ball, okay? And I don't want it to hit me in the face, the moneymaker. Like I'm just no.
absolutely.
So when we were there on Saturday, my friend Luis is like, yeah, like this is foul ball home run territory. Like this could be really fun. And I was like, he has a hat and he's like, I'm gonna be so cool. I'm gonna catch it in my hat. And I'm like, I am gonna hit the deck. So don't step on me when you knock over people to get to the ball because I don't want it and I don't like. So there were no balls hit into where we sat. But there were that day, the Diamondbacks did hit a home run. I think they hit one home run, but they hit it into another section of the stands. But then on Sunday, Sam and I were there, and Bobby Witt Jr. hit a home run. It was the first pitch for that at bat. He hit a home run into the stands where I sat the day before.
Nice.
And whoever's in the lineup after Bobby Witt Jr. comes up to bat, strikes out, and then your man Salvador Perez comes up next and hit another home run into the same section. So we were
Did Vinny hit another one that game as well? No. Yesterday, or since then,
mm-mm.
the Royals played another one where Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, and Vinny Pasquantino.
Yes, that was the next day.
Yeah.
That was yesterday or whatever day. But yeah, those were the only 2 home runs. They did have some other runs. It was a really good game. Like they were firing on all cylinders. The pitching was really, really good. Um, the at bats were great. The defensive play, like there were some really good like defensive plays, double plays. Like it was really good. We had a great time the second day. I will say the tickets were very affordable, so I will definitely go back to Diamondback. It's called Chase Field. I'll go back
You don't need
to
to bring Luis,
more.
though. If the Royals didn't win and his team won, he's
Okay,
out.
so little story about Luis. He also one time we watched a football game together. And we just like met, like at a bar and grill, and we were watching a Chiefs game. And it was one of the 2 losses that the Chiefs had last season.
I'm
Was
surprised you're still friends with Luis, to be honest.
I said to him, I was like, so your days watching sports with me are done. Like, this is not going to happen again. And he was like, I mean, to be fair, like the Chiefs thing, like they weren't supposed to lose that game to the Bills, you know, and he was like, "But, I mean, in my defense, then they won in the playoffs against the Bills." I was like, You have no defense. Like, that was 100% your fault." I was like, "Yes, you are correct. The Royals, like, they don't win as often as the Chiefs, and so, like, you maybe didn't ruin it there, but I think we're done watching sports together. At least teams that I give a hoot about, we're not doing it."
Absolutely.
But yeah, yeah. So we can still be friends and we could go to like basketball games together because I don't have a basketball team. Or we could go to like if we went to a Diamondbacks versus, you know,
Yeah.
somebody else, then I could do that. But we had so much fun. I will say the only disappointment besides the Royals loss, the only other disappointment, and don't come at me for this, people that love Chase Field. I thought it was a cool field. Like the stadium was really cool. I had a good time, but the hot dogs were not very good.
Okay, I have a weird question. What did they race? Like, at the K at Kaufman, they have like the hot dog race with like ketchup.
Hot dog race.
They did do a hot dog race.
They did too. They did a hot dog race. I think they did a hot dog race, and then they had these, like, I mean, they're like bobbleheads, but they're like the people inside the mascot suit
Yeah.
or whatever, and they had one that was like Randy Johnson. It was 3, like, famous players from the Diamondbacks. One of them was Randy Johnson. I don't know who the other 2 were. So they raced those 3 mascot things, and then they did race hot dogs too.
Oh.
Mhm,
So when I went to a Mariners game when they played the Royals,
mhm.
they do a salmon race and they have different kinds of salmon that they race. And it
That's
never
interesting.
occurred to me that I just assumed everyone did the hot dog race. And
Really interesting salmon. That's hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. No, they did the hot dog race. Yeah, they did the hot dog race, and it was fine, you know. I The stadium was cool, and, like, the parking was not bad. It has a retractable roof because it's, like, 980 degrees in Arizona right now, so you can't like, baseball players would be dead out there playing. Um, the cooling system in there was pretty impressive. It was, like,
Really?
112 degrees that day, and it was not hot inside, and my son, Sam, wears long jeans and socks and full shoes when he goes to baseball games because they eat peanuts and they break the shells all
Yeah.
over the stadium. So he's so deathly allergic to peanuts, as you know. He covers as much of his body as he possibly can. And then we always like sit in an aisle seat. And if we can, we sit in an like no, we don't always sit in an aisle. Sometimes we sit at the end of a row against, like, a wall or a barrier. Like, Sunday, we sat by the bullpen, which was kinda cool. So,
Ooh,
like,
I love
we could
that.
see when they got the phone call, like, for the relief pitcher, and we could hear them, like, back there, like, the relief pitchers were, like, warming up, and we could hear the, like, into the gloves while they were practicing and stuff, so that was kinda cool. But, like, we sit specifically kind of isolating him, and we've definitely, like, gotten up and moved seats if
Do
somebody
they not
behind
have
us is, like
a nut-free zone?
if they do, I never have seen it. I mean, I didn't see it.
I am 99% sure that they have like 1 or 2 sections at the K that are peanut free. Maybe I'm
I didn't look because when we've gone to spring training games, there's not a nut-free
yeah.
section at the spring training games, so I didn't even look. So Sam was there, and he's pretty hot-blooded anyway, and so he was there, like, in his jeans, and he didn't have a long sleeve shirt on, but he had, like I said, like, full socks, full shoes, and it was not unpleasant. Like, the cooling system, because if you think about, like, that's a giant
Yeah.
there's so much space in there, and to cool, like, the entirety of the space is a lot.
I mean, honestly, I would think it would be like a a crisp 90 inside the dome. If it's
I
112
mean,
outside, I mean, just like yeah, so that's actually very
wasn't
impressive.
it wasn't 75, but it might have been 85. It was quite pleasant. In Houston, the baseball stadium in Houston that the Astros play at is also has I don't remember if it's a retractable roof, but they have a roof on it. And
No,
back when
theirs
we
is the
lived in Texas
Astrodome. I don't think theirs is retractable.
no, it's not the Astrodome anymore. It's called Minute Maid Stadium. I think the Astrodome, I think they shut that down a couple years ago or something. Um, we used to go in
I only
Houston.
follow Royals baseball.
It's fair. I mean, because we've lived in lots of places, so we've gone to
Yeah.
baseball games in lots of places. The Minute Maid Park was actually usually pleasant as well. The climate control at Minute Maid Park was usually pretty pleasant. The thing I would complain about at Minute Maid Park, we were there one time and there was like a torrential downpour. I'm talking like hurricane level torrential downpour. And there was just rain coming in the ceiling in Houston.
You did talk about
It's a
that.
very leaky ceiling. It's really, really leaky. I mean, they saved a they probably would have been a rain cancellation that one game that we went to. So I mean, they saved it, but even like in the stands and stuff, it was raining.
Yeah.
We don't have that problem here in Arizona. Like I don't even it rained recently and it rained for like an hour and I was like, it never rains for an hour. I was like walking around the house, like going to the front door, going to the back door, going to the windows. Lucille was at home. I was like, it never rains for an hour. Like, look at this. It's raining for a whole hour today. Like, it's been raining for 30 minutes. Like, what is going on? We're like standing on the patio, like two old ladies. Like, this is so interesting. It hasn't rained since you lived here.
Okay, mom and dad make fun of me because sometimes I will like, the dog will just like sit at the window and she just stands just looking out. Like, and so
Right.
sometimes I'll go sit over there and I'm like, what do you see? What are you doing? Like, who's out there? Because she does
Yeah.
it for like hours. And they're like, what are
Yeah.
you doing? And I was like, I don't know. I'm just trying to connect with her. And I'm like, that's like what Lady and I do when I'm like low key trolling and making fun of her, and I'm like, "What's out there, lady?" Like, "Oh, it's
That's
raining? Do
funny.
you see that?"
That's really funny.
And
How
whenever it
did
rains, I do not hear the rain drum that we got for
You can't
dad.
hear the rain drum when it rains?
No, no, I throw mulch at it sometimes, and then I can hear the bells.
So disappointing, like, that was
It's
the whole point.
I know, it's really disappointing, and we get some, like, hard rain,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
no, we really can't. Anyway, I think that I should have gotten a smaller one with thinner metal. Like, I purposely got, like, a sturdy one, and I think that was the issue, is, like, it has to hit it really hard. Because if I throw stuff at it, it will make noise.
Interesting. Yeah, we all pitched in and we bought our dad a rain drum for the yard for, like, Father's Day or something, and
Yeah,
if
well,
you can't
because
hear
we
it,
thought it
that's
would be
such a
such a cool
letdown.
thing too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So your braids are cute. Did you do those yourself?
I did. Fun. I, like, got out of the shower and I was like, "Okay, I'm not going to put my hair up in the messy bun," because as I was taking it out of the messy bun to get into the shower, I could literally see, like, I had, like, 4 inches of, like, greasy Crisco hair, and there was, like, 4 inches of, like, clean hair that was messy that had been in the bun, and then the ends were greasy too. So I was like, "I need to do something else," and the braids were I was gonna do 1 braid because mom always gets jealous and is like, "Oh, I'm so jealous that your hair's long enough that you can do it all over in 1 braid." So so I was just like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do some Pocahontas braids."
Cute, very
Yeah.
cute. Yeah.
So
So I Oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead. I was just gonna tell you, I was talking to mom and dad about what we talked about on the last episode about, like, the huge discrepancy in pay between WNBA and, men's NBA and all this, and then also discussing, like, some of Caitlin Clark's stats where I'm like, "Well, her average three-pointer is, like, 28 point some odd feet, and Steph Curry's is 26 point some odd feet." And dad
Incredible.
I
2 feet farther.
and that's just her average. She literally, like
Incredible.
I know, because
Well, she does the logo 3. Like, that's what she's famous for is standing on the logo and throwing a 3, which is really half court.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that we all call it a logo 3 because if it was a man, we'd call it a half court 3, but okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and dad was like mom was like, "Oh, that's interesting," and kind of not and dad's like, "Well, before Caitlin Clark, how many WNBA teams even turned a profit?"
Not very many.
Well, and that I was
I
like,
mean,
"Okay."
that's the point is, but how do you turn a profit when you're not able to commercialize it to the level to get the audience there? Like, that's
And
part of the problem is, like, the audience isn't going to come for nothing. You have to commercialize it and get the audience there, and then the profit comes. But you
right.
can't, like, they're I mean, even me, and I feel like I'm a fierce female, feminist
Yeah.
sports fan, and even me, like, I've never gone to a WNBA game. You've gotta there's gotta be a draw. I mean, some people are going to go because they're feminists or because they're female athletes or because they want, like, there are people that will go and support, but not enough. And that's the problem is, yeah, like, yeah, they're not turning a profit, but they don't even have access to the things that would allow them to turn a profit.
Well, that's what as I was like, I mean, I don't even think I could name honestly, I can name the Indiana Fever, and I could guess some of the other cities. Like, I know Phoenix has the Mercury or whatever, but I'm
Mercury.
like, I could not name 5 I don't think I could name 3 WNBA teams.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, in my point, I was like, now's the time to do it because as I keep telling everyone that will listen, I'm like, because the KC Current is selling their stadium out every game. And just so you know, Sporting Kansas
Mhm.
City is not. The men's
No.
soccer team is not selling out their stadium every game.
No, it's really been, like, an interesting, like, I don't know, experiment, whatever it is, like, it's been an interesting, thing to watch, and I do think other female sports are watching the Casey Current. Like, there's been a lot of information published about it. There's been a lot of data, and they're
Yeah.
pushing it hard that they, like, again, like the whole idea that, like, you have to give the audience something to come for. And Casey Current did that. They gave them something to come for, and the result is their season tickets are sold out. I think there's a waiting list for season tickets for the Casey Current. I mean,
And
that's
there has
crazy.
been
The
since
team
they
didn't
got that
even
stadium.
exist.
Yeah.
What?
They've had waiting lists for season tickets pretty much since before they even got their own stadium. The first season when they were playing
Yes,
at Children's
yes,
Mercy
and they
Park.
were
Yeah.
selling
But
out very well. Again, like, I think, if you wanna argue that the WNBA didn't have profitable teams, I mean, that's probably true. I don't know statistically, like, I didn't look that up, but I would assume that that's true. The WNBA teams were probably not individually profitable, and the league itself may or may not have been profitable, and if it was probably getting some funding from the NBA to make that happen. But again, I think you can't just, like, throw this together and be like, people are gonna come. You have to give them something to come to, and you have to give them access to get excited about it. Like,
right.
that's what it takes the TV slots. It takes, all of those kinds of things to get the crowd there. And honestly, sometimes it does take a stadium. I mean, I think Casey Current, I don't know why they had the magic formula. I don't know. I mean, I know Patrick Mahomes and Brittany Mahomes are part owners, but I don't think they're even majority owners. I think they own, like, a little slice of it.
Correct. Yeah.
So that's not where the bankroll came from. Like, that's actually not where it came from. It came from the Longs. Chris Long and somebody else Long is who it came from. I don't know who they are. I don't know why they had the bankroll for it, but that's the thing is you have to be able to invest in the idea and invest in the concept and to just, like,
Well, and I mean, honestly, Kansas City has done a great job. Like, there's billboards, there's all kinds of stuff all over the entire metro area about teal rising and, like this bank is the official bank of the KC Current or where I feel like for whatever reason, like we did invest in the current and we're like, we are going to make this, but Kansas City cannot possibly be the only city that would be capable. I mean, I just in Missouri alone, I'm like St. Louis, they love freaking anything that it comes from there.
because, like, the fact that Kansas City has done it so well for the KC Current, which is a female soccer team, and they did it maybe better or certainly differently than all the other female soccer teams in that league. But it's interesting when you consider, and we talked about it last week a little bit, like, Kansas City is not a big market. Like, you've only got, like, 1,000,000 people that live in the entire metropolitan area. It maybe 2, I don't again, like, I didn't fact check myself, but it's not I don't think there's 2,000,000 people in the metropolitan area. It's a small market for
Yeah.
sports teams, and then when you look at there's the Kansas City Chiefs, 80,000 seats for 16 to 20 games a season, depending on, the things. The Royals, the Sporting KC, and now KC Current. So that's a diluted market. That's a diluted market. Like when you're looking at like statistically, who's the demographic that buys, season tickets to sporting events? That's a demographic that has like
Yeah.
luxurious money, disposable income, there's only so much of that demographic available in Kansas City. Like there's a finite amount of that. And so when you look at that they could do it in a small market, I mean, the reason the Royals struggle a lot is because it's a small market team. They have small market money. They don't, there's so if they can do it in Kansas City, it can certainly be done in other places and not just in the female soccer league, but also in the WNBA. And
Exactly.
also in female football, and also in like also in female rugby, and also in all the other sports. It can be done, but it takes investors. There has to be investment, and like you said, there has to be like local sponsorship and local buy-in.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just, it really, like, I'm telling you, the pay gap is unbelievable. I know I think we talked, but, like, because I looked it up after we recorded, and, the league minimum for WNBA is, like, 72 literally, it's 70 some odd thousand a year. Like, I was like,
Yeah.
"You can make more as a brand new nurse."
Yeah.
Straight,
Yeah. A
Yes.
lot of college graduates make more than $70,000 a year on a bachelor's degree, which granted, a lot of the women in the WNBA have a bachelor's degree, but they're not using it. They
Right.
don't have a second job usually. I don't know, maybe some of them do, but that's not, you know.
Well, and then the men's NBA, their league minimum salary is over $1,000,000, which is higher than NHL, NFL, MLB. They have the highest league minimum over, it's like
Interesting.
1.1. And again, I think some of that is probably like, and no, I don't think NBA is more expensive than NFL games. It's $60 to park at Arrowhead. I don't know what the face value of tickets
I
are.
went to an NBA game
I know.
In November. I went for my
And
son's birthday.
you
We went
talked
to the
about how
Phoenix
expensive it
Suns.
was.
It was a small investment. We had so much fun. I wish we could go more often, and we can't. But we did talk like we're just gonna dive into the WNBA here. Like we're just gonna go to a handful of WNBA games. Here they're much cheaper. Parking, I think we were parking in downtown Phoenix, so a very expensive city, with a very large downtown. And I do think we paid 40 or no, I bought a pass. The tickets that I bought, like I bought the tickets on like
Yeah.
SeatGeek or whatever, and the tickets that I bought, they came with a parking pass. But I still think it was like $50 for the parking pass, maybe give or take, maybe a little bit more, probably not less, but probably more because it was a garage. We parked in a garage. So I had
Mike
a parking pass.
Mike and Anne Marie went to a current game and mom was like, "Well, they parked downtown for free." And I'm like, "Where? Where did they park downtown for free?"
They parked downtown for free. Did they park downtown in 1971?
That I was
What do you mean
like,
they parked downtown for free?
and then just took the streetcar. I was like, "So I don't think they parked downtown. Like they parked on the plaza or something and took the street."
Okay,
I don't
okay.
know exact because I was just like, I can tell you because one of my friends lives downtown, and every time I want to go hang out with him, I'm like, dude, you like he pays $30 for me to park my car so that
Yeah.
I can go hang out with him.
Yeah, I mean, when we went to Chase Field, downtown Phoenix,
Yeah.
I paid $40 for a non-Chase Field parking lot that was like a block and a half walk to the stadium. I could have paid $25 and parked like 3 blocks farther, and it was 112 degrees, so no thank you. We paid $40. And I was like, "I think that's what it costs to park downtown, like $40 to park down that's what it costs."
I think in any major metropolitan area, I think it's yeah, 30 to f like, when
Yeah,
we were in Seattle, Seattle was very, very expensive, and it was, like, $45 for 2 hours, and I did not feel like my car was secure. I was like, "Let's be in and out of the aquarium fast." I feel very
yeah.
certain a homeless man is currently peeing on my tires.
At least on your tires and not, like, in the window, so could be
Thank
worse.
God.
Portland was like that. When we went to Portland last
Yeah,
year, they had a lot of, like, they had a lot of those, like, you scan the QR code and you put in your driver's license or your license plate, and then you can pay for, like, a half a day parking or 1 hour parking or whatever. They had a lot of that in Portland, and some of the parking was pretty sketchy. I will be honest, I don't remember what we paid for parking, but we paid to park the car everywhere we went down like, we had just rented a car while we were in town. We paid to park the car everywhere we went in downtown, and we were always scanning those because we ended up,
yeah.
like, downloading the app because we were doing it so much.
Yeah. The other thing with Seattle was it was really hard to find like, I had the apps and,
Yeah,
like, I was like, "Okay, this sketchy parking lot right here, that's gonna have to do because the next
yeah,
closest parking spot I can find is 6 more blocks."
yeah. Yeah, I mean, parking downtown, and I think in any city in 2025 is it costs money. I think it's hilarious that mom and dad thought that they didn't pay for parking
I know.
in
I was
downtown.
like and this also coming from dad who, like I don't even remember what it was that dad was taking me downtown for or why he was with me, and this was, like, forever ago, and I'm walking downtown, and it's, like, a bunch of parking meters, and I pulled out my change, I put in as much as I could on mine, and then as we're walking, I was, like, putting d and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I don't know, just being a nice person." Dad's, like, horrified. He's like, "Don't pay other people's parking stuff." I'm like, "Well, I did." So I mean, because I was like, I'm not even sure if there's, like, metered parking in downtown places anymore. Like, I don't think our kids would know how to put
No,
change.
not like the meters that you put the change into or anything, no. I mean, it's the QR code meters that you scan with your phone, or,
Yeah,
like, when we went to Chase Field, they just like, all the entrances to the parking lot were blocked except one, and they had people out there with a card reader. Well, it was on their iPhone, but
yeah.
I think.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
actually, I the last time that I went to a Royals game, I specifically had cash to pay for parking, and they're like, "We don't accept cash, only cards."
Yeah, a lot of this like, the last couple of sporting events that I've gone to, they were cashless stadiums. Like, a lot of the spring training stadiums are cashless. Chase Field was cashless. I think where the Phoenix Sun played for that WNBA game, I think that was cashless.
I know
I
that
could be wrong about I could be wrong about the basketball game. I can't remember for sure, but a lot of them are cashless. It's just easier for them.
and I had no idea when we went to the Mariners game, I specifically, like, stopped at an ATM and got cash. And then, Michael wanted a soda or whatever. He had to, like so I was like, "Okay, here's, like, 40 bucks or whatever." And I didn't even give him a card as backup because he had to go to, like, this reverse ATM where you put your cash in and it gives you a card
Get
that you
out.
can use. So, because then he's like, "Well, I have, like, $3 left on the card." And I was like, "Just I give it." Like, the friend of mine that we were with, I was like she's like, "We're not gonna come back this season." So, we literally just, like, gave it to someone I was like, "Hey, man, there's
Yeah,
$3 on"
yeah.
But they made it, like, such a hassle where I was like, "Okay, I guess I'm so old." When we went to that game, I show up at my friend Carrie's house to go, and she's like, "Do you have your clear bag?" And I was like, "What are you talking about? I don't get out much, Carrie."
Hey, let me tell you about our clear bag for we do go to sporting events and stuff like this. So I've had clear bags, off and on for years. And a lot of time, like honestly, like when I went with Luis when it was just Luis and I, like I just, I have tap to pay on my phone. I had car keys, lipstick, and my phone. And I just had everything in my pocket. But when I go with Sam, I got to bring an EpiPen. I might need an inhaler. Like he requires a lot of gear. I was like, looking online because sometimes they have restrictions for how big your clear bag can be. So Sam he works at Lovesac, which is like a couch store. He has a clear fanny pack that's a Lovesac branded fanny pack. Like, I think it was like his gift for working there for like his 1 year anniversary or something. But I should bring it on the podcast and show you. It's like holographic clear, like disco-y. Like, it's a vibe. It's a vibe.
I'm into it.
Like, where's the I like we're getting ready to leave and I'm like, where's the Lovesac clear fanny pack? And he's like, Mom, you've got, like I have a clear, like, shoulder bag that's not big. It's, like,
Yeah.
medium sized, and I got it, like, at work for, a work event that we needed clear bags for, and he's like, "Mom, you have, like, that one from work, and then you have this other one that's, like, an old Vera Bradley one that has, like, a pink paisley, strap, but the bag is clear." I was like, "The pink paisley one has seen better days." It's also been at the beach a lot, so there's a lot of, like, sand and
Oh,
sunscreen, like, it's
yeah.
not even actually clear anymore.
Yeah.
I've got a layer on. And then the one from work, I was like, "Well, I think it's" like, they did allow, like, large bags for, like, diaper bags, like, if you were bringing in, like, formula and diapers and stuff, and I was like, that large one, like, we don't need it." I was like, "Just go get the left pack one." So I rolled in, and the iridescent, like, loud yeah, it's great. It's really great. It's clear nobody said a thing, and, like, I think it wasn't even, like, his gift for being there for a year. I think it was actually, like, like a lot of companies, like they have like swag, like they have a little
Yeah.
website that employees can go buy swag for or whatever. And I
I
think
love that
somebody that
shit.
Sam works with, like bought it for him as like a birthday joke gift or something. And I was literally like, score!
Oh my
We
god.
need
Yeah.
these for sporting
I
events and
love that
sponsors.
swag.
You
Like, one
do.
of my favorite things about travel nursing was, like, you got a little bit of swag at all the different places.
You do love some swag, yeah.
Yeah.
My company, they do a little bit of swag on occasion. Not a lot, because it's like they just are really careful with it. They're probably overly cautious with the whole, like, ethical,
Yeah.
you know, gray area. But occasionally, like, you'll be like, "Wait, you have speakers from your like, Bluetooth little speakers from your company? Like, I need one." And I'm like, "I didn't even know that was in there." Like, I had a hat recently. There was a little, like, baseball style, cap. And it was like lightweight, like kind of the kind of thing mom would wear for like walking the dog and,
Oh,
like a Wicks Away lightweight cap and it says, the
you
name of
should
my
really give
company
it
on
to her.
it.
She loves it already, I can tell you.
It's here. I asked her if she wanted it and she was like, "I'll just get it when I'm there." And I'm like, "Okay, that's in October. I got this like in April, but okay, I'll
She's
just
got a
hold on
coaster
to
she
it."
needs to mail to you that's been sitting down there for, like, 2 months, by the way.
What coaster?
I made you a My Sister Is a Karen coaster.
Sorry. I
And
was
she
thinking it was one of the coasters, like a needlepoint coaster, because I was doing those
No, no,
needlepoint
no, one
coasters
that
for a
I
while.
made, and she was
Okay.
like, "I don't know, shipping's really expensive." I'm not sure if
For a
she's
coaster that fits in a padded envelope?
I don't know. It's not one of the needlepoint ones that's expensive, so maybe her point is like, did it like, "No, mom, the value of the coaster is probably $1." So
Yeah. Yeah. It's okay. I would still like to have it. Excuse me.
I know.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's really funny. I do love that because we've talked about this off camera for, a couple weeks since we had the last episode where we talked about the Caitlin Clark, WNBA stuff. And I do love that you like really like did some deep dives and you were like, you like some of the things that you found, like the minimum salary for the WNBA versus the FBA. Like you found some astonishing facts and you were really like, I didn't know this.
And
And
I
some of
think
it I was like,
everyone should know
did.
that. I
I do.
y
I think so too. I think again, there's a whole like not to get on my soapbox, but I think we missed the market for 100 years or more by denying women the access to professional level sports like that. Because in all honesty, I mean, not me, because I'm not an athlete. And if I was, like, I'd be like, yeah, like in general, women aren't as entertaining as athletes as men. And if you give them the opportunity, they can be as like phenomenally human, superhuman specimen as the men can be, like Caitlin Clark or,
Yeah.
Simone Biles, like whatever it is. But I just, I love that you were like calling and you're like, "Did you know?" And I'm like, "I did. I did know that." But I don't think I knew how low the WNBA starting salary was. I did know that there was, like, some attention that Caitlin Clark makes less than $100,000 a year on the Fever, because she's on her rookie contract still.
Yeah.
Not good.
Because then I saw something where they were like, Sophie Cunningham got fined $50,000, and I was like, "She better not have gotten fined $50,000."
That's
If
a huge fine for them.
Exactly. That was
That's
like a
really
TikTok
big.
thing that I was like, I don't think that they said that was for the incident that we talked about where she pulled the girl's hair, had her by the back of the neck, that thing, and they
Yeah,
were like, "Yeah, she
yeah.
got fined 50," and I was like, "I don't think she got fined 50." You can't fine someone over half of their
Like
salary.
2/3 of their salary. I mean, she's not a rookie, so I don't know what she makes. Hopefully she makes more than 70 grand, but she still doesn't make. I
No.
mean, none of them do. Even Caitlin Clark is worth, like, obviously the most of any female in the WNBA, but even she's not worth what she should be worth, like, even
No.
she doesn't have. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to change gears. So, another favorite athlete of ours, Travis Kelsey, who we talk about way too much, but it can't be helped because he's, Travis Kelsey. Did you see that he said somebody asked him, and I don't know the context, I think it was on an interview or a podcast or something. They were like, "What was the hardest part of being on SNL?" Did you see this?
Yes, where he talked about he's not a good reader and
Yes.
okay,
He said the hardest part of it was the table reads because for a guy who doesn't read well, that was really nerve-wracking. I love him for this.
oh my god, okay.
Every dyslexic person out there who's been embarrassed because they have felt like they are stupid or that people think they're stupid, I love him for this.
I
And he
know.
just said it like it was no big deal, the same way that he would have been like, "Well, I mean, I had to comb my hair before I went to the table read." Like, he said
Right.
it like it was no big deal. I don't know how long it took him to get to that place emotionally where he could say it like that, but he said it very casually.
Well, and then I mean, I was like, that's I had not thought but I was like, that also just makes it all the more impressive that he also is getting into some other acting and stuff. I there was when he was on SNL, I can't remember who, I wanna say it was Kate McKinnon, but I can't remember. One of the women from SNL was talking about how great and they were like, "He was fantastic." And they all talk everyone who works with him outside of football talks about how he has a really good work ethic. Like, no,
Yes.
and the woman was like, "My favorite thing was, like, when the week of rehearsals, like, he had one of his football buddies in there, and they were, like, practicing lines together," and she's like,
Who's from Kansas City. That Heidi girl, she's blonde and she grew up in Kansas City. She's a huge Chiefs, Royals, Kansas City
"Yes."
current, Mahomes, Kelsey. It was kind of her idea to try to get him to host. Apparently, she had been saying to them for a year or two, like, "You really should get Travis Kelsey in here."
And the way she
She
describes
said,
him, she's like, "He is handsome and huge and hilarious."
yeah. She said that he was in his green room with his script, and she was like, "You could hear them in there, like, practicing," and he was like, "Bro, I don't wanna look stupid when I get up there," like that. I just I feel like we spend a lot of time talking about him, and some of that has to do with, like, your love affair with Taylor Swift, and, so he just ends up on our radar so much, and again, like, for, like, the 5 listeners that we have, he has been on our radar since way before he was on everyone else's because he was a Chief for a really
Yeah.
long time before everyone knew who he was,
I mean,
and
I
before he
didn't
was the
know
great.
he was as great as he was until maybe 5, 6 years ago. Like, I knew he was great as a Chiefs player, but I only felt like
No, you were late to that. He
well, I
was
was totally late to
definitely.
that.
Yeah, because before Mahomes was the starter, he was racking up the stats and he was well on his way to being the greatest. We all knew he was going to surpass Tony Gonzalez, which, again, if you're from Kansas City and you're old like us, Tony Gonzalez is the OG tight end of all tight ends, slam dunk over the field goal,
Yes.
handsome, funny, like all the things. Now he's like the handsome eye candy on, some of the halftime shows and stuff like that.
I
Very
worked
smart
with
man.
this woman who every time anyone would talk about football, she'd go, "Tony Gonzalez. He was the best tight end. That's such a great job description for him." She'd get this, like,
He was Do
faraway
you
look at
remember
her.
when he
She's
was
like,
young and living in Kansas City? He was very handsome. And to be fair, like, football doesn't have a lot of handsome faces
correct, yes.
for whatever reason. Like, you know, I mean, maybe they do, and we just don't know because they're all wearing helmets all the time. Maybe they're all handsome. I don't know. But Tony Gonzalez was like yummy. Like he was really good looking when we all three of us, you, me, and Megan, we all had massive crushes.
Oh,
Massive crushes.
had?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So I'm going back to the Travis Kelsey
I
thing.
loved the sorry, go ahead.
I just was gonna say, like, I really like just, like we talked about depression, and I said, like, I really appreciated when somebody really strong like Michael Phelps came forward and was like, it doesn't matter. Like I had it too, and I wanted to die, and it was horrible. And and he still talks about like the struggles that he goes through to like
Like
maintain
Justin Bieber
his.
being open about his struggle, yes.
And I really like there's a lot that I admire about Travis Kelsey, like, a lot that I admire about him, but this I was really like, "Dang, look at him just, like, dropping that like it's no big deal." He's like, "Yeah, I don't really read that well," and that was really stressful for me to have to go do the table read. Like, shoot, that is
I mean, I felt like you, like, that is way more vulnerable and you're giving it credit for like, he said
yeah,
it very, like, off the cuff, like, "Oh, yeah, that was the hardest part is, for a guy who doesn't read that well." Okay, I love that you said that, and again, like, someone who's at the top
every
of his
parent
yes.
every parent with a kid who has dyslexia or reading issues or is a late like, whatever it is, I just think, like, man, there's so much power and just,
I
like,
sent it
dropping
to
that, like, so
Jason
casually.
because Jason's always like, "Karen, I hate reading. I hate read" like, yeah, I do. I absolutely love that he said that and didn't make a big deal about it and wasn't like,
No,
"Well, I have dyslexia," and, he was just like, "Yeah, a guy that doesn't read that well, this was really hard, and I powered through."
yeah.
And then,
I mean, when you
the woman talking about it and being like, "Oh my god, like, he's in there, like, with his football friends practicing."
I know. I know. I really admire him. I thought, like, of all the things I admire about him, which there are a lot, I was I'm very team Travis right now. Like, good for you. I do think, like, even though he said it off the cuff and made it look very casual and like no big deal, my guess is it wasn't no big deal to say that. That's probably something he's had to like practice saying for a lot of years. And I'm sure he had his moments where he got teased for it. And I just think good, like, way to be a man.
Yeah.
Like, really good job, and for a guy who a lot of people look up to him, like, good for him. I mean, he looks like he could survive getting hit by a Mack truck, and he's over there like, "Man, I don't read that well." So,
Did you
I was really impressed. I liked him for doing that. I thought, good for him.
Did you see his podcast appearance where they were asking, like, what's the weirdest part about, like, the, like, level of fame that he now has being with Taylor? And everyone was like,
Yeah.
okay, Taylor's I don't know if you know this, Taylor's publicist, her name is Tree Payne, and this clip comes out and people are like, "Has anyone checked on Tree Payne?" So they're like, "What's the weirdest thing?" And he's like, honestly, it's like when I'm golfing, I have to like go find a bathroom. Like I don't want my meat to be on page 6. He can't just go to pee off the side of the course anymore. Those are his life struggles.
I don't wanna take up golf. Golf is I mean, it's so popular everywhere, but, like, here you can golf, like, 9 or 10 months of the year. You can golf almost all the time, and, everybody I know was like, "Jennifer, all the single men are golfing. Like, why don't you golf?" And I'm like, "Number 1, because I don't have I'm fine not, like, meeting all the single men. Number 2, most of the men my age are fat and old and bald, and I don't care. That's not my type. And number 3, like, I feel like men piss around on the golf course all the time. I think that's half the reason they go. Like, I don't wanna go for that. Like, that doesn't look like fun for me.
It's no, golf to me Have you ever seen, Robin Williams, his description of it? He's
Uh-uh.
like, "Only the Scottish could come up with this, like, we're gonna give you this little ball and put the fucking hole, like, 2 miles away." And then he had a very accurate description that where it's just like, why did people think of this and think like, "Yeah,
I
let's do
think
that
it's
as."
the social. It's this I mean, everybody I know who golfs, they do like the sport part of it, but I mean, like, people, you
Yeah,
go in a foursome and, there's the whole social aspect, and I have thought about I really have. I'm like, "Maybe I would like it." I mean, it's a sport, it gets you out and, outside, and I do think, like, maybe I would like it, but I've golfed, like, twice in my life, and the people I was golfing with were like, "You don't hit the golf ball like a baseball," and I was like, "Well, I mean, that's the only reference
yeah.
I have." Um,
Well, I
yeah,
went to Topgolf for a company holiday party, and one of the doctors was like, "Karen, you won't be able to golf. Your boobs are too big. They're gonna get in the way." And that was accurate.
just get in the way.
They do, because how I like,
You just froze for a second, so
they
go
legitimately
ahead.
do get in the way.
Even mine do, and mine are, like, not even close to yours, like, mine definitely get in the way, which is part of why I was like, I mean, if I swing it like a baseball bat, but just, like, lower, I can make it work a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, I mean, I have thought about taking up golf. My really good friend Sam that lives in Colorado, she golfs, like, pretty actively, like, that's kind of one of her favorite things to do. She and her husband go. Her daughter, who's, like, 6 or 7, is learning how to golf, like, they'll go and they'll take Emily to the golf course with them, and it's very cute. Emily has, like, a cute little visor and,
Yeah.
little snaggle teeth, because she's at that age. So it's very cute, and Sam is definitely one of the people that's like, I mean, all the single men are here, and I'm like, "Okay, first of all, they're not all single, so there is that."
Yeah.
But I mean, I think I maybe would like it if I had, like if I had a group to go learn with or something, but I've just never taken it up. I'm just at home sewing by myself instead.
Yeah.
That's my new habit.
I think like a lot of other sports, I think it's expensive too, though.
Yeah. And like, I don't know, I've never looked into it enough, but like, can I rent clubs and give golf a try before I go invest in clubs and in a bag? And like, obviously, I would have to have a pink bag and like pink club covers or, like, all that stuff. So, like, do I have to go buy all of that before I even get into the sport, or is there a way to, like, rent them somewhere while you learn if you like it even? Like, if I don't I'm sure there's probably a way to rent them. I don't know.
Yeah. Your nails, I love the nail polish color, by the way. I've noticed it like
Thank
3
you.
times.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
I guess, if we were really that interested, maybe we would have looked some of this stuff up.
Well, I didn't know we were gonna talk about golf.
I mean, just in general and life, we've had some time to
Yeah,
figure.
it's like okay, so, like, last weekend, I went to the baseball game on Saturday, and I went to the baseball game on Sunday, and I was like, "This is a lot of, like, out of the house." For a Saturday and a Sunday because, the baseball game okay, the baseball games are actually pretty short now with the pitch clock. Both baseball games were under 3 hours, and one of them, they even played, like, the bottom of the ninth inning, and it was still we were at the c with the car started at the 3-hour mark.
Wow.
I know. So the pitch clock has definitely sped up the game. On the game that we went to on Sunday, the pitcher, one of the batters for the Diamondbacks, took a pitch to the knee and like hit the dirt and like didn't get up for a couple of minutes. It was pretty ugly. He did stand back. I can't remember the guy's name. I wish I could, but he did stand back up and he like did some high knees and like paced around. But they'd had like 3 or 4 trainers and the coach came out to the field, pitch clock stopped, everything stopped. And it was probably 3 or 4 minutes that it took to he did walk it off and he finished his at bat. So, and then I do have to correct myself because he didn't take a pitch to the knee. The pitch hit his bat and then the ball hit his knee. I thought the
Still,
pitch hit his knee, and so I thought he was gonna walk to first. And then he started, like, putting his gear back on to go back to bat, and I was like, "What is he doing?" And that was when, like, the replay played on the jumbotron, and it was like, "Oh, he didn't get hit by the
I don't feel
pitch."
like that's gonna slow it down that much, though, and I feel like a baseball hitting your knee at, like, 90 some odd miles an hour.
It was an 82-mile-an-hour pitch, so it was a slow pitch, but still, yeah, the
Yeah.
yeah.
I
So, I
mean,
mean,
that
like,
like,
that
when you were
happened.
talking about, like, catching foul balls and stuff, all I was like I remember when I was coaching Michael in soccer, and he's like, "I think I wanna play goalie," and I was like, "You know, they kick it right at your head on purpose. Like, that's what
Yeah,
they do."
yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah," and
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
don't that's not my thing. I will Perez, at his first at bat on Sunday, the day that we won, he took a ball, like, right smack in the side, like, smack in the side, and I was like, "Oh," it was like an 84 or 86-mile-an-hour pitch, and it just, like, you almost heard it. It was not good, so but then it was funny because so Sam and I were sitting where we were sitting, and I was like, "Ooh, he just took that, like, in the side, like, that's not gonna feel good," you know?
yeah.
And, somebody, like, a couple rows behind us, I don't know who it was, I just heard them go like, "I mean, he's built like a Sasquatch, he'll be fine," and I was like, "He's also old." So,
Yeah.
also, I do wanna say, because back long, long ago in one of our first episodes, we were talking about the Royals, and you were like, "Can we put Perez, like, in the top tier, like George Brett, Alex Gordon?" You know? And I was like, "I stand corrected." Like, how dare I have said that? I do stand corrected. He has been a Royal since he was, like, 16 years old. He is an excellent player. He's Silver Sluggers, Golden Gloves, one of the best catchers in the AL for a long time, year in, year out, workhorse, very rarely misses games, and honestly, extremely, like, bleeds royal blue as though he was born in Kansas City. So I owe you and Salvi an apology because I never should have. I should have absolutely let Perez be in that, like, holy trinity of,
Yes.
like, the most loyal Kansas City Royal players of all time. He should be there.
Yeah. He's been such a leader since since they went to the World Series in 14. He has
Yeah,
been such an incredible leader on the field and off. And like you said, I
yeah.
mean, Jesus, when he was younger, he did not mi he played more games every season than, like, any other player in the whole Major League Baseball.
He did. He really did. And not only that, I mean, the Royals recruited him. He was a young teenager, and the Royals recruited him. He probably weighed 100 pounds soaking wet. You would never know it to look at him today because he's a biggin now. But the Royals recruited him when he was a very young teenager, and he came up through our farm system for a year or two, and he's been on the roster. I mean, he's been on winning teams, he's been on losing teams, he's never taken a contract to go anywhere else. I don't know who engineers that, like, I don't know, but he's a really and he's a great ambassador for the city and for the team. Like,
Yes.
yeah, I never should have denied him that.
I love
I don't
him.
know what I was thinking that day, but I was like,
Who would
yeah,
because we it was George Brett, Alex Gordon, there was who would be the other?
I don't know, who else would it be? George Brett, Alex Gordon.
I mean, I'm, like, trying to think and I'm like, I mean, even some of the guys like Brett Saberhagen, but,
Mm-mm.
I mean, it wouldn't be yeah.
I mean, I want it to be all the guys from the 2015 World Series team that
Absolutely.
we loved, Moose, Kane, but, I want it to be them, but I mean, most of them left, and in some cases for greener pastures, you know?
Yeah.
But
I
no,
do
I mean,
love that they are slowly coming back and signing one-day contracts so that they can retire as
yeah,
Royals. Both
yeah.
Moose and Kane did that, and I don't
Didn't Hosmer too?
I was just gonna say, I think Hosmer did as well. I think
Hosmer, I think he might, I don't remember if he did, but Moose and Kane did. And Hosmer did, I assume he lives in Kansas City again because he did the Savannah Bananas thing when they were in town.
yes, yeah. Hosmer, I think, was an excellent ambassador for Kansas City.
And one of the greatest, honestly, one of the greatest ambassadors from the Royals of all time. I mean, I truly, like, no matter what you liked or didn't like about him back in the day, he really embraced the city and really embraced the fandom.
Yes.
Took it to a new level.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
did.
they did that, they lost the game 7 in 2014. They
I know,
lost game
Salvi
7
cannot
of
help
the
it with the
World
pop-ups.
Series.
I know.
about they lost it to the Giants. The winning tying run was on third base. The tying run was on third base, and it was Perez that
It
struck
was
out, wasn't
Perez who
it?
had a pop-up out of bound it was a foul
Out of
pop-up.
bounds, and yep.
Yeah.
So they lost the World Series, and it was heartbreaking, like, absolutely staggeringly heartbreaking, but they were in town, they were in Kansas City, and Eric Hosmer tweeted out to the Twitterverse that they were going to be in the Power and Light District, and they wanted to celebrate with Kansas City, and they were buying the drinks.
Yeah.
People showed up. Gerard Dyson went, Eric Hosmer went, I think Moose was there, like, a lot of the players were there, and the rest of them tweeted it out, but Eric Hosmer did it first.
And
And
Hosmer
I
picked up
don't
the majority
know.
of the like, at the time, the rumor was that Hosmer's tab for that night was like 60 grand or something.
I was gonna say the rumor was that it was like a $70,000 tab.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at the
Because then it
time,
came out later that he was like, "Oh, it wasn't that much because someone else split it, like Perez or Gordon. One of those guys split the tab with,
I don't think Gordon went.
I don't think, probably not. It was probably Perez.
Gordon was a family guy. He didn't, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. But there were a lot of the players that showed up, even just if they were just there for like a short, like,
Yeah.
appearance or whatever. That was really, like, honestly groundbreaking. When you think about it, like they told the city, we're going to this, but we lost. We're going to this place and we want to celebrate with you anyway. And I mean, just the security issue with
Yeah.
it, I mean, it's crazy when you think that they did that, but they did that, and that was, I mean, that was the turning point for Eric Hosmer. The city's love affair with him escalated. I mean, the city already loved him. He
Yes.
was already a darling. He was very handsome. He was very charming. He was a great baseball player. He was humble. He was, he was well spoken. Like, there were a lot of things
We
about him
really
that were
wanted him
very
to be our next
endearing.
George Brett. Like,
What?
honestly, we really wanted Hosmer to be our next George Brett. We
We
wanted him to
did.
be the one who, I mean, and don't get me, like, we knew we weren't gonna keep all of them, but, he also wrote that article after they lost in 14, in the Players Tribune that was like, "This was not a fluke." Because remember, they went into the following season, like, very poorly rated and
Yeah. Yeah.
and he was the one who was like, "No, like, this is a magical team." I love him.
Yeah, and they were right. They were a magical team. And the team stayed fairly intact from 2014 to 2015. But yeah, I mean, that was really impressive that he did that. That was just really, really
Yeah.
impressive. And I do remember that Dyson was there. Yeah,
I can't
it was
remember
a
who
cool, that was what?
I can't remember who else was there. Yeah, but there was
I'm
a
sure
number.
Moose and Eric Hosmer had that, like, little love affair.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was
Well, and I
it
think some
was
of the pitchers, like, remember we had the bullpen was, like, just fucking I just read Kelvin Herrera was yeah. I just read a thing that about, Wade Davis, that he had, like, so many perfect innings in a row or whatever, and, like, he still holds the record for it. They're like, "No one's broken it since." Like,
interesting. It was a moment in time in Kansas City. Like, that was a really, like, magical moment in time because we don't get that, and because Kansas City baseball is such a small market and there's just not, good profit sharing and salary caps and, whatever. And so you really have to pull your money from your market, and they just don't have it. It was a really cool time. And, like, part of what was so magical about it was what those guys did with the city. Like,
yeah.
it was very cool. But yeah, I think in hindsight, I think it's George Brett, Alex Gordon, and Salvador Perez. I don't think there's anyone else in that roster yet. I mean,
I
obviously I want Bobby Witt Jr. to get on the roster, but he's got to get, it's going to take a few more years.
Yeah, I'm still we talked about this already, but that slide home where he somehow, like,
That's insane. That was insane. That never should have happened.
I said, it's
That
like,
never should have happened.
I'm like, he is like Mahomes, and that he does things that other players cannot do. Like, they could not put that in a baseball video game because people will be like, "No one can really do that."
Yeah,
It's like, and I'm like,
yeah,
"But he just did."
but he
And
did. Yeah. He has an ability to get himself out of scrapes, like when he's running the bases or even like when he's fielding the ball. He has an ability to get himself out of scrapes that just aren't like there's no playbook for them. Like he just has an ability to mechanically make that happen without probably thinking through it.
yeah, I know.
It's
God bless.
crazy. I know. We're so lucky he's a Royal.
I know. I am thankful that he's a Royal all the time. All the time.
When he hit that home run at the Diamondback Stadium, they threw the ball back onto the field. I was like, "No, I get it. I get it when you're at your home stadium, you catch the opposing team's home run. I get it, you throw the ball back." But I was like, "This is Bobby Witt Jr.'s home run. That ball is special."
Yeah.
Like, did you know, person that threw the ball back, did you know that you were I mean, this is like throwing back a Mike Trout home run ball or a Shohei Ohtani
I'm
home
like,
run.
"You could have sold that right then and there."
Someone in the stands that was a Royals fan.
I know.
And I was just like, it doesn't that was a poor decision.
Yeah,
That's my take on it. That was a poor decision. He should have held on to that ball.
yeah. 'Cause
So,
jackass, I would have
anyway,
paid you for that.
I would not pay for it. I don't want it, but I mean, that's a it's a big deal.
Yeah,
He's he's the future of baseball. I mean, him and other people, he's not the
sure.
only one, but the future of
Yeah.
baseball is definitely within him. So, I think that person should have held on to the ball, but anyway,
Alright.
we should get going.
Yeah. Alright, so we'll be back in 2 weeks. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Um, and if anyone has any ideas about what you wanna hear us talk about next, because otherwise it's probably gonna be more of the same, just
Yeah, yeah, we're just
fangirling
gonna talk about
over
whatever
female athletes in
whatever we
Kansas
feel
City.
like.
I know, pretty
Yeah.
much. Alright, I'll talk to
All
you
right.
later,
Thanks,
Jen.
everyone. Thanks for sticking with us while we altered the schedule a little bit and see you in a few weeks. All right. Bye. Love you.